Every entrepreneur dreams of overcoming all challenges to experience the sweet taste of success and to see their business soar to unrivaled heights. Affin Bank propels your business forward by offering banking without barriers and supporting your business goals.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of ProfitMAX podcast. This is a program we try to do weekly, and we basically speak to industry leaders, people from different industries. By the way, my name is Peter Lam. I'm the author of this book, ProfitMAX Your Business, that came out in towards the end of 2018 and has been very well acclaimed. In fact, it won a book award, and we are very happy about that. So to reach more people and to spark more ideas, and sometimes all we need is a bit of perspective from different business leaders. We put this program together, and we've been doing this now for several months, and very happy that we're getting good feedback on it. So today we are very privileged to have with us, I guess, a leader in the insurance industry. I'm going to bring him on in a little while. But basically, in this time, we see a lot of businesses suffering and collapsing and facing all kinds of challenges. But it's also good to know that there are businesses that are thriving and moving forward and growing, no? And I think we will think of people like the PPE industry or the glove industry, or perhaps the tech industry, semiconductors and all that. But apparently, Tune Protect has been doing very, very well. And it gives me a lot of pleasure to talk to Rohit Nambiar, who is the group CEO of Tune Protect, and he has been taking Tune Protect to a higher level and transforming the business. So, welcome, Rohit.
Hi, Peter. Thank you, and nice to be here.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe you could start off by telling us in maybe 25 seconds or 45 seconds a bit about your history and your background and how you came to Tune Protect.
Well, I'm an Indian, but I've been around many countries. So basically, I worked with an organization for about 17 years before I joined Tune Protect a year back. I have worked in Malaysia for 5.5 years now. Before that, I was working in Singapore for Hong Kong for 4.5 years, Malaysia for Singapore for 2+ years. UK and India, and I worked in a few other projects in other countries as well. Grown through the ranks. I started as an analyst, and I grew to be a CEO. At my first stint as a CEO was when I was 37. At that time, I was the youngest CEO in Malaysia. That's what people told me. Very excited to join Tune Protect because Tune Protect, just a very quick summary for your audience. Tune Protect is a listed insurer in Malaysia. We have presence in Malaysia, we have presence in Thailand, and we have presence in the Middle East, in UAE. And we have a reinsurance business out of Labuan, which services 30 over countries. For me, it's a very exciting opportunity because Tune Protect has a simple philosophy of insurance simplified. So we want to go to the customers with extremely simple offers. And for that reason, we are very pragmatic and very innovative in our choices. Finally, we also have a technology company called White Label, which does work not only within Tune Protect, but with outside Tune Protect as well, offering some really cool technology solutions. Our InsurTech platform can issue 80,000 policies in a day without an issue. So, that's just a quick rundown of what we do at Tune.
Excellent. That's very good. So you have a lot of international experience as well, Rohit? Fantastic. And the youngest CEO in insurance in Malaysia. That's great.
Okay. At that time. Now I'm not that young.
Yeah, okay. And very interesting, and I understand that since you've been on board, Rohit, you've tried to, or rather you're in the midst of embarking on the transformation of the business and the company. So maybe you could tell us a bit about that.
So I think as a
By the way, I
CEO,
think this concept of insurance simplified is extremely good, no?
thank you.
Because insurance is not so easy and straightforward for most people to understand, and it can be quite complex. So I think it's a great concept, great tagline. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, my pleasure. So good to hear that as well. We changed it at the beginning of this year, and I'll tell you a little bit of story as well for your audience. They might have a laugh about it. So basically, I think the first and the foremost thing we have to do in any organization as we become leaders is, and this is a heavily repeated phrase, culture eats strategy for breakfast. Peter
Yes.
Drucker said it
Yeah.
but it's a fact. I'm a strong believer that in what Steve Jobs said, that you hire people for them to tell you what to do and not for you to tell them what to do. I think in the traditional insurance leadership roles, we always thought the leader knows the best. Today, actually, we got to accept the fact that leader doesn't know the best. Leader is just someone who's the chief facilitator. He facilitates people to go towards a common direction. Now, how that gets executed is up to each people within the system. Now, for that, a leader is only as good as his or her team. So a lot of what I have been doing is putting in place that culture. Our culture at Tune Protect is called a fun but uncomfortable place to work in. We want to have
Fun but uncomfortable.
yes, we want people to enjoy working in Tune Protect, but never be comfortable, because comfort drives complacency. And put some new people in new roles. We've hired some new people from outside. We've bought non-insurance people. We've mixed it up, and we've had a host of things. As we were discussing before this show started, we've been looking at how coaches can help our management staff to get ready to the new norm. We've been doing a lot of interesting programs. We have an online training platform for our employees. So I think that was the first part of the culture journey that we did. We were already flexible working arrangements, but we've just launched a new flexible working policy, which means even when COVID's stable, we expect employees to only come to office 2 days a week. And we have flexible working hours, casual dressing. Anybody can sit anywhere. If you come to my office today, you will find no office because I don't have one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember on a lighter note, my father-in-law sent me a message saying, "Can you send me a picture of your new office?" And I had to tell him, I actually have no office. I can sit anywhere, just like any other employee. But that's the whole idea in this culture. We want to break and we want to put people in charge. The second part of it is obviously coming up with a new vision, a new strategy for the organization. And that's when we came up with this new tagline, which is Insurance Simplified. And a lighter note, before our tagline was Protection Made Easy. And when we asked a lot of millennials, which is our focused customer segment, a lot of millennials replied saying, "Is this a contraceptive brand?" Okay. So, and that's the reality. If you take the Tune Protect name out and you say Protection Made Easy, millennials asked us if it was a contraceptive brand. So obviously the tagline
was this coming out of some consumer study? Or?
So whenever we do any product releases, and I can talk about that, we now do focus group discussions and consumer ethnography research. So we don't just launch it blind, right?
Okay.
Which is some insurers are doing it, but it's not still a broad-based way of doing things. Now, as a result of that, we came up with a simple tagline saying we want to be insurance simplified. A consumer should have a very simple experience. As I always tell the team, it's my favorite phrase. My team has heard it again and again. To make things simple is very complex. That's why people make things complex, because it's very simple. Just put 5 people in the room, an underwriter, a compliance, a claims, operations person in the room. Everybody wants their pound of flesh. Everybody wants to maintain their line of authority, their line of saying. And it becomes extremely complex for the end consumer or the distributor. So I think a lot of our focus has been around this. We've come up with a new vision. We want to be a lifestyle insurer that everyone loves. So we've actually built in customer satisfaction as a key KPI for all employees. 15% of the bonus of our staff, starting from me to every single employee in the company, is linked to customer satisfaction and not top line and bottom line alone. The third one is we have then launched a new values. So we've launched 4 values. Our values are make it simple. Our values are be bold and be curious. Our values are to be customer obsessed. And the 4th is better together. So we launched a new listing. We also announced that we will only focus on 3 lines of business, i.e. health, SME, and lifestyle. Why? Because when you talk to a millennial, only 3 things matter to them. The mobile phone, that's their life. They love traveling, and they are very health conscious. Now, so we want to follow a millennial on this journey, and we want to only focus on these 3 lines of business. That means we've made certain choices that certain lines of business we will not do. Certain lines of business we will. So SME, for example, is definitely a focus for us because millennials are more and more SMEs. So that's how we've come up with a new strategy. And I'm happy to see some of the early results. Of course, the proof of the pudding is in the final results. But we've seen some interesting results. Just in the first 7 months of this year, we've signed up with 37 over partners in the region. These partners include an airline in Vietnam, e-wallet in Thailand, includes a e-commerce platform in Thailand and Malaysia, includes a hotel chain online hotel chain in the Middle East. So it's a very broad base of partners that we have got in. Okay. And the reason we've got it in is because we have very focused, simple products, simple technology, simple proposition.
Okay. It sounds like a lot of clarity. I love the way you outline your strategy. You know, it shows clarity. There's so much clarity. Everything links. So you're saying you've decided to on the sector you want to focus on, which is the millennials, and out of that have come 3 segments that you want to focus on. And also you were saying that everything was based on basically culture first. Yeah, so you tackle culture first. So let us go back to that for a moment. You know, Rohit, how easy or difficult or challenging was it to shift the culture? Was there a lot to do, or was it a big time shift, and how did you get people on board on your new concept and transformation?
Culture transformation is never complete. I always tell people that when people tell me culture transformation takes 2 years, I turn around and say, I'm yet to see a culture transformation in my lifetime. Because that's the fact. Because by the time we have a certain culture, we already are adding something, modifying something, refining something. So yes, there is a core culture, right? But I'm saying culture is an ongoing transformation, because if culture has to be achieved in 2 years, then you're assuming the environment around you is also not changing. All things remaining constant, right? The famous HR term. There is no all things remaining constant in the world we live in, right? Especially in the last 2 years with COVID, there's no all things.
Yes.
Culture is, like we always say, is about people seeing things. Now, how many times do my staff see me in the last 1 year? Because most of the time they're switching off their video. So building culture the definitions also have changed quite a lot. But to your point, I don't think 11 months is enough to change a culture. It just sets in motion a transformation. It doesn't, you don't reap the results immediately. And cultural transformations are not very tangible in the short run. The results of which will come in the medium to longer run, because that's when you see people are working together better, people are driving a certain agenda, people are becoming simpler, etc. The key in any cultural transformation program for me is to be able to identify who are your promoters, who are your detractors, and who are your fence sitters. The promoters are your anchors. You
Yes.
work with them to get results out there. And I'm a firm believer in quick wins. Get
Mm.
some quick wins in. That's why I don't like long-term projects. IT vendors hate me because the minute they come and tell me 6 months, 9 months, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I want to see results quickly. So coming back, I think that's the first one. How do we bring in tangible short-term results?
Mm.
The second one in this cultural transformation journey is have clear KPIs. And that's how the NPS or the customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction is part of our bonus. So the message is given very clearly that it's very important. The third one is what value proposition are you giving? We are very clear. We want to be a millennial employer of choice. So
Mm.
everything we create will be how to attract and retain millennial employees because our customer focus is also millennial.
Mm.
Now you might ask me why millennial? Very simple. You walk on the road on Malaysia and you ask 10 people, who would you buy insurance from? If they are 50 years and above, they're only going to name 3 or 4 brands in the market. Simple. I can't compete with them. There is no way because one of them has been here for 120 years, the other for 70 years, the other for 90 years. They would have probably seen their parents buy this product. They would have bought it. Their kids have bought it. I can't compete with them. So I need to have a differential proposition. And that's why I'm saying I want to be millennial focused because for millennials, these 3 things matter that I mentioned. And for millennials, they are more open to trying new stuff.
Mm.
If we can give the right price point, the right proposition, they are more possible to target. And that's
Mm.
how we are looking at the segment.
Okay, excellent, Rohit. Excellent. So you're saying not only are you targeting the millennials, but you also want to be the employer of choice for millennials as well. It
Yes.
makes a lot of sense, right? Bring in the people who understand your target market the best. Yeah.
I'll give you a joke, right? The other day we're launching a very new offer, and we were discussing it in the team, and the team was presenting it, and we were having discussions. And one of our XCOM members was challenging it a lot, saying, "I don't think this will work. I don't think that will work. I don't think this will work." And the project manager actually stopped the XCOM member and said, "But you're not even my target customer." So, in a way, but actually, I don't think it was snobbish or arrogant. I think it was a very good reminder to us saying we are putting our biases, but my profile is not who I'm targeting.
Yes, yes.
So that's where it goes back to being very focused, being very clear and obsessed.
Yeah.
Even a distribution strategy. One of the things I've been telling our agency head in Malaysia has been, you need to hire more millennial agents. How can you sell to a millennial customer if your agency age is above 60 years old? So that's how everything has to come true
Yes, yes.
on how do we build that millennial.
Yes, yes, yes. So you have to be consistent throughout, no, and really, be the whole McCoy, as it were, no, in every sector, every facet of your business. Fantastic. Okay, so when you were embarking on this, what I call transformation journey, if you like, how was it in the beginning? Was there a lot of pushback? Was there a lot of unhappiness, or how did you get people on board? How did you get buy-in? How did you get alignment on this?
So for me, actually, I think it goes back to the discussion, as I said, is identify who are your promoters. Identify who are your detractors, and you got to make decisions on detractors. As leaders, one lesson I think every leader has learned is a delayed decision on people bites you very significantly. As far as we are objective, you have to make people decisions. Now, people decisions may be that the person is more suited in another role.
Yeah.
People decisions, maybe the person is not fitting within this culture. So I think it's very important for you to identify that. The third element is we need to constantly engage the fence sitters. Are they fence sitters because they are silent sufferers? Are they fence sitters because they just want to see what will happen? Or are they fence sitters because they don't care? Now, I need to understand that and see how many of those fence sitters can I move to become promoters. So I don't think in the ASEAN context, to be honest, you will face a lot of resistance to change. Personally, I find Malaysians very open to change. Okay.
Very adaptable.
Yes, the issue is different.
Mm.
Sometimes they don't know what this change means. Sometimes they have seen so much change that they're like, okay, la, you change, I'll wait and watch. Yeah. Now that's where your actions mean a lot. You have to be consistent. You cannot say, okay, this month sales not happening. Okay, forget millennial. You go get whatever you get right now, get me the sale. It's very common because your P&L can pull you to those decisions.
Yes.
Now, and that's where you need to be very, very focused.
Mm.
Extremely focused, not make those short-term tactical decisions which will bite you, because the minute you make one, you will have a push to make two, then three, then four, then everybody's confused, saying
Yes.
what is strategy and what's execution, right?
Yes.
So, and I think the most important in a culture building exercise is be ready to fail. When there are 10 things that I'm doing today, in my mind, I know very well that if I'm lucky, 2 things will work out of that 10. Let's be honest, we have to be ready to fail. If we are not ready to fail, we are just doing more or less the same. If we analyze paralyze, which is very common in a traditional industry like insurance, then you're never going to be able to innovate. I have a common quote which got quoted in some public news as well. I say to innovate, you should be ready to be fired. It's a fact. I have been many times in my career. So touch wood, relatively, I think I've been lucky. I have grown to become a CEO at 37. Now, the point was everybody thinks, oh, that means he must have had a bed of roses, all success, and he grew and he probably had someone's hand over him and all of that. First of all, I've moved so many countries, so there's nobody's hand over me, okay? Second of all, I don't believe in this hand and politics and all of that. I have a very simple view to life. You have a job to do, you do it well, the rest will take care of itself, okay? I'll give you one simple advice. I never negotiate salaries. HR people can confess to it that probably till I became a CEO, I never negotiated salaries, because for me, it was all about the profile I picked up, because I had a simple ambition in life. I want to be a CEO. And I always looked at the building blocks to say, does the next role get me closer to that or not? I don't care about the salary. Now, anyway, stepping back, I think failure is very, very important. People are too scared of failure. People sometimes don't ask themselves, what happens if they fail? The worst that will happen if they fail is they can go back to their comfort zone anyways. If you're good enough, you're competent enough, you don't need to worry. It's an employee's market. It's not an employer's market. It's an employer's market for those skill sets that are no more needed. If you're in data entry, it's an employer's market, because I don't need that skill set for too long. If you are in product, if you are in analytics, if you are in cyber, if you are in cloud, if you are in partnership, if you are in digital, trust me, it's your market, not mine as an employer.
Yes.
So take risks. How else would you ever know? I can write a book, a book of all my failures. I will struggle to write a chapter of my success.
Okay.
Obviously, we all talk about our success, right? But behind those success, there's a lot of failures.
Yes.
So why am I repeating this a lot? Is I think in a lot of ways, we should institutionalize failures in an organization.
Wow,
and say
okay.
it is okay to fail. Let's share among ourselves. Let's learn among ourselves and see what went wrong. Don't beat people up because they made a
Yes.
mistake. Let's talk what went wrong and then let's get it right. So institutionalize failures. It's okay to fail. Just fail.
Okay.
Because if you don't fail, how will you succeed?
I'm glad you brought that up, Rohit. That's a very refreshing concept, no? Institutionalizing failure. And you know, one of the things I kind of coin and make fun of is the CEO title actually stands for Culture Enforcement Officer. So maybe you could give us an anecdote or story or something of how you actually do that. How do you institutionalize failure? Because the fear of failure is so big, you know, it's just inherent in most people, especially I would say in the Asian culture, where from the days when we were in school, we were told that below 50 marks or you get a red mark, you're a failure, no? Then you're labeled a failure. And so the fear of failure is very real for most people. Yeah. So how do you institutionalize, or how do you begin to institutionalize, or how do you lead by example in that area?
I think first thing is, as a leader, you have to be vulnerable. This
Mm.
old way of defining that leader knows all. When I started out in my career, my view was the leader there knows all of life's problems. So I just need to go to the leader. Today's leaders are telling that's not how it works. We actually don't know the answer to many questions. The other day, we were having a debate on sustainability, on climate change.
Okay.
I told my team, I don't know this topic enough to give a feedback. You tell me, then I need to analyze, I need to sit, I need to learn, I need to comment. But I am not the expert to tell you this is approved or not. Do you believe in it? Okay, let's discuss what's the downside. Go, you do it. Because I don't know. How am I the expert? I don't even know this topic enough.
Yes.
When my HR head comes to me and says, this is the talent process, I can give her some insights on what can go wrong, what can go right. But what talent system we should deploy is not a choice that I'm going to make for her.
Mm.
So coming back, I think one is make yourself vulnerable as a leader. Don't have this traditional view that leader knows all. Leader does not know all. Leader for me is a chief facilitator or a chief culture officer, as you rightly said.
Okay.
The second one is when people fail, don't hang them.
Don't crucify them.
Don't hang them dry. Exactly. In fact, tell them it's okay. You tried. I'll give you an example. We launched. I remember in my past company, we were among the first ones in Malaysia to do robotics process automation, and very successful. When the first two robotics process automation went live, there was massive savings and everybody were very excited and said, I want it, I want it. And then we did a process for the finance team. And my team came to me saying, we have a problem. The robo duplicated and printed 3,000 duplicate invoices. Okay. And there's a bigger problem. Now the robo cannot correct this mistake. We need people to manually correct this mistake. Obviously, there were a lot of people saying, this is nonsense, terrible, blah, blah, blah. Now, at that time, we could have killed our robotics process automation. What we had to do was to say, it's okay, you tried. Now let's discuss what did we learn from this. We learned three things. Garbage in, garbage out. If you put a system on top of a terrible process, you will also get the output is also going to be terrible.
Yeah.
The second thing we learned was without business sponsorship, don't try something. You need clear business sponsorship. The third was we learned something on the technology side and we corrected it. And since then we implemented, I think 40 or 60 robos, which went extremely well. But that was a pivotal moment. I was not the CEO then. But that was a pivotal moment for me as a COO, but also for the CEO who I was reporting to accept that it's okay, mistakes happen. And for me not to hang the team dry and say, it's perfectly fine. What did you learn from it? That is very important. That is very, very important because the tone from the top sets the culture.
Okay.
The last one is be very pragmatic in your KPIs. In traditional industries, we always want KPIs like top line, bottom line, combined ratio, loss ratio, etc. Many of these initiatives do not contribute to finance directly. Why? Because financial KPIs are lag KPIs. It takes time for things to flow through. And more importantly, it's very difficult to separate an initiative out to say this contributed because there are many other things also that contribute. For that reason, I believe in lead KPIs. Lead KPIs are essentially to say, what is my claim cycle time improvement? What is my policy issuance time improvement? What is my customer satisfaction improvement? That makes it much more tangible for people and that helps them to see quick wins. When quick wins are there, it becomes a culture because obviously everybody wants success. When they see one team succeeding, the other team will say, hey, what are you doing? Can I also do? Then it becomes an institutional culture.
Okay, great. So I want to shift gears a little bit, Rohit. So we spent a lot of time talking about transformation, culture, and all that. Let's talk a bit about your marketing, because obviously the growth didn't come just happen by accident, right? So you have told us how you differentiated yourself instead of going after the big established 100-year-old
Yeah.
icons in the industry. You've decided to target yourself or target the millennials. So tell us about your marketing and you know how are you moving forward with that shall I call it positioning or repositioning of your differentiation?
So we've done a few things, right? So, first thing is our technology is extremely API friendly. So any partner can hook in into our API. So we're very easy to work with. That's important. The second one is our products are very bite-sized, simple products, easy to buy. We launched a home insurance product last 2 months back. Very interesting. We kind of copied the AirAsia philosophy, which is you buy a ticket, what seat you sit in or what food you eat is your choice and you pay for it. The same way, we went out to the market and said, if you find a cheaper home insurance product in the market, I will make good the difference. That was how bold we were. The reason was very simple. We gave them a basic product. Now, beyond that, if you want to add fancy stuff, you add. But at least we are making it affordable. The same way, our health product, you can buy it at an average ticket size of 600 ringgit. The average health products probably are between 1,500 to 3,000 ringgit. Why? Because our sum assured is lower. Too many times people sell, you need 1 million health insurance, you need 2 million health insurance. Someone who's earning 3,500 ringgit, he can't afford 1 million health insurance. My health insurance, the highest cover is 150,000. There's a lowest cover, which is 20,000. Now, the point, why am I saying this is, it's very important for people to understand that we can't just sell to mass affluent and affluent families. We also have a host of customers who are under-penetrated, under-insured today. For them, affordability matters. For them, convenience matters. And that's why we made these products easy for them to buy. The third element that we have done is we have also found new ways of providing downstream propositions. For example, we have in Malaysia, we have tied up with Naluri, which is a health and wellness organization more into mental health and rehabilitative care. For both our employees as well as our online health customers, we actually offer their services. In Thailand, we found out that people were traveling into Thailand. We actually offer teleconsulting with travel insurance, something never heard of. Why do we offer that? Because when you're in a hospital, suddenly you have fear, you have doubts, you can't go out, you can't meet. So we give you a teleconsulting option. In the Middle East, later next month, we are launching pet health and pet travel products. The whole idea is to create simplified propositions within these segments, which talk to the customer who we want to talk. And the last one is, I think it's very important to speak their language. So we have a certain brand identity that we have come up with, and the brand identity will speak the language that we want to talk. And that's very, very important because it's very important for customers to understand what is the identity that we want to have. So I'll give you an example. If you were to hear us talk, then you will hear us talking as young, we'll be hopefully exciting, we will be very simple to understand. That's how we want to talk to them, not too much of lingo, because insurance is already very complex.
Okay, and at the same time, a young, exciting, simplified message is universal, right? Because who doesn't want something young, exciting, and simple, right? So while you're, I think this is my personal view, while that messaging is very directed to millennials. At the same time, you're not cutting off the.
No, we are not.
Yeah.
We are not.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I said that I want everyone to, our vision was to be a lifestyle insurer that everyone loves. Now, obviously there we have customer satisfaction, which we are tracking, and that will be a critical criteria to understand whether customers will promote us or not. But how do we define whether customers, what will make them love us? We said there are 3 simple brand philosophies there. The first one is we want a company which always fits your budget. So we want to be an affordable insurer, i.e. you want more comprehensive stuff, you add on like an Amazon or a AirAsia and you buy now, no problem. I'm not forcing you down a certain path. Because traditionally, you look at Southeast Asia or Asia for that matter, in the last 20 years, where did growth come from? Growth came from affluent and mass affluent customers. 20%, 25%, 10%, 15%, very high growth rates, very high margins as well, because these were affluent and there were enough affluent customers. So the traditional feet on street model was perfect because your premiums were higher. But as you talk to new customer groups, you need new disruptions. And the new customer groups, you can't sell the same high-end products. I'll give you a tangible example of what I mean by positioning. The other day, my wife gave one of her friends my number because she was looking for a high-end health product. And I spoke to her friend, and about 20 minutes later, I told her a company's name and I told her, go and buy this product from I'm not an insurance advisor, but from my limited understanding, please go and check this product, but you make your own decision. And I gave her some views. And my wife looked at me and said, I go and tell everyone, Tune Protect. Why did you tell some other company's name? I said, but your friend is looking at an average premium size of 10 to 15,000 ringgit because she's a medium to higher net worth individual. Tune Protect is a 600 to 1,000 ringgit premium product. So I don't cater to her and I don't want her as my customer. Let's be practical. I'm happy for her to look at me as a second product. I'm okay. Or for her kids, I'm okay.
Okay.
That's my position. The second one is, I keep reminding my team, we are customers too. Please put ourselves in the customer's shoe. And the third is we think mobile first. Very important, that concept. Because in today's world, everybody is purchasing through smartphones. Everybody is servicing through smartphones.
Yep.
Now, mobile first automatically means very simple product, very simple service, because you can't give very complicated stuff because people can't keep scrolling on their mobile.
Yes.
That drives a certain behavior. And that's that.
Okay. All right. Tell us a bit more about the 3 segments that you're targeting. No, you were saying lifestyle, which used to be travel, and the other 2 were what?
Health and SME.
Yeah, SME. Okay.
So within lifestyle, as I said, millennial customers, 3 things matter. The first is the mobile phone. Their life revolves around the mobile. So things like gadget protection, e-wallet protection. What happens if my e-wallet money goes missing? These are things that really matter to them. They're very cautious and they love their pets a lot. They travel a lot.
Yes.
We have 14 over travel products in Middle East. I didn't even know that there can be so many travel insurance products before. But that's how consumers are different today, because some consumer wants COVID protection when they travel. Some say they don't want. Some say they want winter sports cover because they're going for a winter sports holiday. So every requirement is different.
I see. Okay.
So
I guess Rohit, given this many products that you have, and all of them quite unique. You're telling me about what was it? Telemedicine thing with the Thai
travel.
So very, very different, huh? So I guess you must have a product innovation team or something, a product development team or something.
Oh, we have a product development team.
Okay.
Obviously comes up with the proposition, but many of the propositions comes from our partners or from our partnership team or from the sales organization as well, right? Because there's a need in the market.
Okay.
So within lifestyle, we look at those, like home insurance is another one. The
Mm.
other one, because we believe that traditionally how home insurance is sold today in Malaysia is primarily through one particular channel where the distribution fees are very high, bank assurance.
Mm.
And it's not compulsory that you have to buy through a bank. So we want consumers to get that choice to be able to buy at a much cheaper price.
Okay.
Sorry. Then we have health. Within health, we want to have bite-sized health.
Mm.
What do I mean by bite-sized health? As I mentioned about our online health product, we also have a dental plan, which you can buy through our agents or online. We also have very specific PA products. We have a vaccine insurance product, which was sold through one of the government programs. It was also sold in Thailand with a large hospital, chain.
Mm.
Basically protects you if something goes
Mm.
wrong with the vaccine. Very bite-sized, small amount. We have just launched in Thailand a very interesting product. Typically, critical illness is always 30 critical illness, 50 critical illness, 90 critical illness, and so on and so forth. We are now launching a critical illness, which I launched already in Thailand, which could be 1, 3, or 5 critical illness. What do I mean by that? You choose if you want 1, you want 2, you want 3, you want 4, you want 5. So it gives you complete flexibility. So your premiums are lower and you can add on as you become, as you have more capability. Why would you want to buy?
So it puts the customer in the driver's seat of choosing what they want rather than selling them, this is the fixed package that I have.
Precisely.
Take it or
90% of those 50 critical illness is something that we've never probably even heard in our lifetime.
Yeah, 0.0 whatever percent of chance of getting it.
As you get wealthier, you probably need it because we want to cover all gaps.
Yes, yes.
But for someone who's earning a 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 ringgit, can they cover every CI? Makes no sense.
Yes,
right?
yes.
On the SME side, it's about creating simplified SME propositions, giving them different flexibility. For example, very simple things like we have a systematic plan where you don't need to pay all your premium together. You can pay through an EMI scheme. So those are kind of how we are helping the SMEs through the space as well. And that's the whole idea here.
Okay, all right. So if some of the SME listeners out there wanted to find out more about Tune Protect, where do they go? Do they go to your website or?
Yeah, go to our website and if you want somebody to contact you, you can leave your message there. If not, you can hit it up on our website.
All right. Okay. So Rohit, maybe just to wrap things up, you could give us some numbers, in terms of your growth rates, your projections, where do you see the business going to the future? And, you mentioned a few markets like Dubai and Thailand. So what's the contribution of Malaysia versus the rest of the market, that kind of?
Yeah, so Malaysia is one of our bigger markets, but our reinsurance business is one of our most profitable businesses because it works in several countries. Now, reinsurance business is based in Labuan, and of course, it's a Malaysian business as well. But of course, a lot of business comes from outside Malaysia as well. So in terms of business, I think we had a good second quarter. We grew over last year. Interestingly, our travel sales in first quarter was higher than even 2019. So many people told us that, AirAsia is not flying, your biggest partner, because obviously this part of the world travel is not there. You're going to struggle. On the contrary, our strategy of having 4 wheels, we said we can't have just one wheel for the car. There's the biggest wheel, which is AirAsia. That's our blood and bread and butter. The second one is we have a growing Middle East business where we signed up with 2 airlines, and we also have a travel tech proposition where 1,000 over travel agents work with us, use our technology and sell our insurance. That business has grown 4, 5, 6x, and it's been very critical for us. We've also signed up with 2 airlines in Vietnam, so that's the next area of growth. And there's a growth which is beyond that as well, which is a lot of the new travel e-commerce websites, etc., are starting to sell our proposition as well. So we're starting to continuously look at not just today, not just tomorrow, but also day after tomorrow. In terms of our business, we hope to have our internal estimation is, which we've told the market as well, is we expect to have a double-digit growth. So that's our expectation still, despite COVID.
Amazing. And does the growth top line translate to bottom line as well, Rohit?
That I can't comment because we are a listed company, so.
Okay, all right.
Sorry
Okay,
about that.
excellent. Any final words before we let you go?
No, I think I would say try Tune Protect. It's a different organization. We are not saying we are perfect. We make mistakes, but we are learning from the mistakes. But what we do commit is we want to simplify insurance. We will be there for the customer.
Okay.
It's a unique opportunity because we believe we can build a Malaysian-based ASEAN regional insurer, and that's our biggest proposition. And we hope we can fructify that.
Yep. Any particular words of advice for business owners going through these pandemic times?
I always say only two things. One is be very focused. We cannot compete everywhere. When you are, the resources are limited, the choices are limited. So being focused is very, very important. Where is the biggest bang for buck? And staying focused on that is very important. Second is believe in your team, and that conviction will drive true performance. It's very normal when performance is not there for leaders to become micromanagers and for leaders to say, I need to take control. No, actually, on the contrary, when adversity comes is when you know which part of your team can really pick up and do much better.
Yes.
So put them in charge, believe in them. And of course, you can have some review mechanisms, but you got to really put them in charge. That's when you see wonderful results. So I would say focus and conviction.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Rohit. Really enjoyed this chat with you.
Thank you.
Guys, if you want to continue to get more good inputs like this, remember to subscribe, like, and share. So thanks a lot, and see you guys in the next podcast. Cheers.